Yeah, and the goal of any of the things we talk about here, whether this is new to you or something you've heard before, is that you want to maximize what you have, right? If you have that extra $1,000 to put in, you might want to put it in the 401k so it can grow.
Yeah, the way I look at that is opportunity, right? It's opportunity, not that you can take advantage of it or want to take advantage of it, but if you are able to and you want to, it is there. So it's a matter of how do you build the opportunity into your overall retirement plan to take advantage of whatever opportunities may come up. And this is one of the reasons it's important to stay on top of these things, because when you're 49, that's not available to you. But all of a sudden, it switches when you're age 50, and if you're not on top of that opportunity, you may not be able to take advantage of it just because you don't know about it. One of the things that we hear all the time, people provide us feedback, they say, we just didn't know what we didn't know. Well, this provides you an opportunity to take advantage of these things that you know. And then again, the legislative changes constantly is throwing wrenches into your plans. So you need to make sure you update them based on the legislative updates also.
And what we see a lot as people get older and as you get into your 50s, your salary increases, you're making more money, maybe you've paid off some debts. So your cash flow gets a little stronger. And now you've got these opportunities, and instead of maybe just bringing home that extra money, putting it in the bank account or a brokerage account, if you can get it into an IRA, if you can get those more funds into a 401k, that can be more tax efficient. And that's why we stress red zone of retirement, right guys? Within 10 years of retirement, the sooner you can put a plan in place, the sooner you can start thinking about all these aspects and components and make sure you're feeling really confident that you're making the best decisions for that overall plan.
Okay, so we promised action steps. Action step number 3 is understand risk. And I want to put a parenthesis around this too. I think as the common investor, you don't have to understand risk, but maybe you want to talk to somebody who can help you get an idea of the risk you're taking with your money.
And in your 50s, this is where you have to become much more intentional with the risk that you're taking and the portfolio construction that you use. When you were 40 years old, take 2008 as an example. If you're in your 40s in 2008, you lost 30, 40, 50%. Yeah, it hurt, but you weren't within 10 years of retiring and needing to take this money out. In your 50s, when you go through those bad times in the market, and by the way, we go through bad times all the way, on average every 5 to 6 years we go through a recession, so you will see many downtimes in the market pre-retirement and throughout the course of your 20 to 30 year retirement. So you have to be prepared for it. And number 1 is understand how much risk you are taking in your portfolio and make sure you're comfortable with it. So when we do go through the bad times, you have confidence it's not going to disrupt what you're trying to do from an overall retirement income standpoint.
And what we try to stress is control. We know we can't control the stock markets. We know they're going to go up and they're going to go down. And in different years, we're going to have really good times, really bad times. So what we try to focus on is helping you be more intentional. We help our families that we work with try to give you more information, help you be more intentional about knowing exactly how much risk you're taking, having a better sense of how much exposure you have with your overall portfolio based on how you're investing and how much risk you're taking.
And Loren, sometimes people have to rethink the old way of thinking.
Yeah, what got you to the place you are isn't necessarily what's going to take you through the next phase of your life. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate up here on the board is when we talk about portfolio construction. Again, in your 50s and certainly through retirement, you have to be a lot more intentional about how you structure your portfolio. What you might have had in your 40s or even 30s is a 60-40 type portfolio, maybe an 80-20 type portfolio. What that means is if it's 60-40, 60% of your portfolio would be invested in equities. 40% of your portfolio might be invested in fixed income. That's the old traditional tried type of portfolio construction. However, once you're in the pre-retirement phase, say your 50s, or beyond, now you can't just have a 60-40 type portfolio. Take 2008 as an example. The average 60-40 portfolio in 2008 was down about 26%. If you're 2 years away from retiring, needing to take income out of it, that's not the experience that you want to go through, which is why in 2008, many people had to come out of retirement or change their retirement plans based on what took place in their overall portfolio. Let's just go back to last year, 2022. 2022, the average 60-40 portfolio was down about 17%. Again, not the experience that you want to go through. This is what the 60-40 portfolio would look like. This is what you're accustomed to. You have the 40% maybe in fixed income. You have the 60% that's invested in equities. So we have to be more intentional. Maybe you shouldn't have the 40% in the fixed income, maybe you should have closer to 50%, and maybe your equity exposure should be closer to 50%. Or maybe you should be more of a 70-30. But regardless of whether you're 70-30, 60-40, 50-50, we also know, based on portfolio construction methods today, we have to have alternative investments within your portfolio. Meaning we can't just be 60% stocks and 40% bonds. We might be 60% stocks, 20% bonds, 20% alternatives, or some kind of arrangement like that. We have to have alternatives within the portfolio because in 2022, stocks were down. The NASDAQ was down about 34%, the S&P was down about 20%, and bonds were also down to the tune of 10 to 24%. So if all you have is stocks and bonds, your portfolio does not have a chance to resist those downsides. And again, when you're in your 50s, on the doorsteps of retiring, that's the experience that you don't want. And we have to make sure that we're truly diversified, which the old tried and true way of stocks and bonds, 60-40, doesn't give pre-retirees the experience that they want.
It sounds like maybe you're saying there's some uncertainty in front of us as we plan for retirement, and maybe we don't know exactly what's going to happen. You look at last year, like you mentioned, both of those asset classes going down in a significant way. What is that impact? It's that uncertainty, it's that unknown. We don't necessarily know what that retirement year is going to look like, and we know it can happen again. So having, being more confident, comfortable with those decisions we make, that's a big part of what we help focus on with the families we're working with.
Yeah, and the whole goal of creating a retirement plan, which includes an intentional investment plan, is to decrease that uncertainty, decrease the uncertainty of the things that we can't control. We can't control legislation, we can't control what the markets do, but if we can increase or really focus on the things we can control, like proper retirement portfolio construction, being knowledgeable about legislative changes and how to implement that within the plan, it can increase your confidence because it can decrease the uncertainty by the increased focus of the things that we can control.
Thank you for watching this clip of Retiring Today, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have questions about your retirement plan, take advantage of the complimentary 15-minute retirement checkup phone call.